Hello, my YouTube friends. Back again. It's a little earlier than my normal posted times. I tell people that I'm going to be live at about 6 p.m. every day, but you know what? I've been feeling sick the last couple of days and didn't really get around to doing live. Posted some videos, some reels, and some thoughts, but no live sessions. Also, I realize all my clips are the same image because I always put the camera like right in front of me like this, and I'm always leaning towards my audio system over here. I don't know what's more exciting, this view. Should we see what kind of music is on? It's a little earlier than normal, so I'm not really sure who's going to be available at this time. I'm taking it as an experiment when I tell people I'm on at 6 p.m. and I end up being on live at 5 p.m. instead. I'm not really sure who's going to be available. So what's new in the system? Not much in here. I'm not going to be the kind of gear swapping channel that many other people are. There's a lot of guys out there that have pretty good deals and associations with distributors and brands, and they can bring in new topics and new items and test the newest and the greatest. That's not really me. I probably won't have the same kind of access to gear as a lot of other people will. But what I will do is review as much as I can as far as I can get my hands on it. Also, to talk about the fundamentals of any audio system and how an audio system goes together, like the what you need to have, what you must have, and then things that you don't necessarily need to have. I am myself going through a process of feeling like I have enough instead of always being lured in by things like marketing and product updates and technology changes and all of these kinds of things. There's lots going on in the world in terms of like what we can buy. There's an endless supply of products. That's how it is. And they need, like most brands are relying on sales and whatnot in order to stay afloat. That's the nature of business. If there's no customers, there's no business. So in my years of experience, 30 plus, or just about 30 now, 31 years in audio, collecting and listening and buying and selling and buying used and making some stuff myself and working at a factory for an audio brand and working in industry, media, photography, video, magazines, doing write-ups, watching the way that media and audio works. There's a number of questions that I might be able to answer about how things work that I hope to just aim and serve the community in terms of what anybody really needs to get. Like, nobody wants to waste their money, and there's more than one way to verify and find out if you need an upgrade or if you needed this or you needed that. And it's not always about getting to the next level. I mean, if you are a true to life audiophile, then perhaps. And for those who are interested, today we are just listening to the copyright free list on Spotify, because if I listen to anything else, I'll get muted or blocked. And like done for me on the video. Thank you for those who are liking the video, who are watching. If you're watching on a TV, I understand you won't be able to communicate in the chat. If you do have a phone or a tablet or a desktop or a laptop, then you can definitely communicate in the chat via a mobile app. My statistics show me that about 90%, 70% of people watch on a TV. I'll show you right here in a second. That's how it breaks down in the background. So there it is right here. It says, 36% watch on a TV, 28% on a computer, 26% on phone, and then a tablet is 8%. And then the demographic, are you in one of these groups? Look at this. Most of the people that watch are in this group. They're over 35 years old. So obviously my content doesn't appeal to the young people. Here I am just above the 5 o'clock mark on a Wednesday. So all these kinds of analytics talk about what's going on with the channel. And thank you everybody for the subscribers. I do appreciate it. It does make a difference. I think in here it talks about how many people are subscribed and who's not. Look at this. Not subscribed, 91.5%. That's pretty crazy. Hello, Gavin says hello, hello, hello. Hi, 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 hi. Repeating the number of questions. Hello, I read your name out. Are you okay? Real person here. You see the mirror? This is really me. Some of my friends are going to notice I changed the color of the couch. I will back up here a little bit. I've changed the color of the chair to gray. I had an extra blanket. This one's actually extra comfy. And yeah, I moved the pink one out to the other room. I'll show you what's going on with the other room. So now I've got the pink one out here over this chair, just to try and dress up the space a little bit. And the Radiant acoustic's still in place. Next week I'll be swapping to the Monitor Audio Studio 89s. These come at a very respectable price, and they actually have such an amazing high quality sound. It's unbelievable. Surprisingly more bass punch than you would imagine from drivers that are that small, but the cabinet is actually pretty deep. I mean, look at that. It's deeper than it is tall. So the Studio 89s are actually not to be overlooked. So I will be showcasing them a little bit more next week. For now, still the Radiant Acoustic 6.2s are in place. So this is what's going on out here. All right. And where was I in the chat? As far as my channel and what I'm doing here, essentially just to answer some questions that help people understand sort of like in audio, if you're a beginner, if you're new to the hobby, where do you start? What do you really need? Why does this stuff cost so much money? Do you really need to spend all that kind of money? My first and immediate answer is no, you really don't. I think there are a lot of really high value topics that, really high value products that can get you what you really want to have in an audio system. And it doesn't have to be this way. And I understand a lot of people will start at a position where, most of us can't afford this stuff. And I mean, me included, because I started like 30 years ago. And that's not necessarily as long as it takes. But I will say that if you're a really big music lover and you really appreciate how music feels, there are options to get you closer to better feeling. There are things to be done with bass. There are things to be done with clarity. There are things to be done with convenience. Say if you're always moving around and you just want headphones and a portable player, that's totally fine. You can do that. I have that as well. If you're at home a lot and you want a system at home, there are reasonably priced items that can get you really good sound for not a lot of money, that blend well to give you the kind of sound that you like. I mean, not all of us like steak the same. Some of us don't even eat steak anymore, with vegetarian or vegan ideals. Then Gavin, nice to see you. Come back again. I'm usually on live at about 6 p.m., maybe even later on Fridays, 8 p.m. through to, whatever time. Check the schedule, subscribe, notifications, and then I'll be around. Any audio questions ever. Pixel Castle's here. That's awesome. And what name? I can't read this name out, so what name should I call you? I use a good pair of headphones. Saves a lot of money. Yes, 100%. Well, good night. You're good. You don't have to pay for the audio equipment you have. Yes. Yep. And headphones and a good system say, okay, so this is the one difference that I'm realizing. The DMP A8 doesn't have a headphone output. The DAC, the Z10 DAC does. The A10 does. The transport doesn't, because it doesn't have a volume control. So with these devices, I can't run headphones there. But there is a headphone output on my Michi unit, but I don't need a $6,500 preamp for headphones. You can get way, way, way less expensive. So if you got the T8 streamer with the Z10 DAC, it's a little more expensive than one of these, but then you don't need a pre, and then you don't need speakers, and you just get the headphones. Right now, that might be one of the best sounding combinations. I think my friend Carmine has actually got that combination. I've seen him post about it in groups. See you, dude. Said it doesn't matter because I've told you before on my name and what to call. Oh, yeah, that's true. You have, and I can't remember what it is now. Oh, I forget. From week to week, I forget. Most of the names are there, and then, dang. I know you're from the UK. I remember that from the other last conversation. I will call you friend, if anything at all. Cheers. Cheers to audio friendship and community. Even though my memory is bullshit. God, I wish I could play some good music for everyone. I'm gonna have to do a music listen and then cut it into clips. As long as I play like only 2 seconds of a song, YouTube won't give me any trouble for it. However, if I play any music for any length of time longer than that, YouTube will mute or block the video, and I can't have that on the channel. It's just not productive. If I'm going to spend some time in here and answering questions and talking with friends and the things that I like to do, I sort of want it to mean something in the world, and I would like it to be monetized, if at all possible, because any kind of monetization at this point helps for things that are coming up in the world, like equipment that I'm using for photography or ticket prices to go to certain events. So the one event that I've been waving my flag about is Expona. Expona is coming up in April, and the Montreal show ahead of that, which I am going to, which also cost me a little bit of money, but Twitch has more relaxed DMCA music rules. Yes, Twitch definitely does. Here's the thing. Do you think if I stream to Twitch, like casually talking in Twitch, would I get an audience in there? Pixel Castle, and also, what's your age, if you don't mind me asking? Or send it to me in a message or something. I don't want to announce it out here. Because I've been really thinking about that, because it takes a lot of setup some days to get audio, to get streaming working, right? Like, I'm in this room and I've got just my phone, but if I wanted to do better sound, headphones, camera, proper desk setup, I don't have gaming. Like, I can't game and stream on Twitch. I don't have all that set up yet, so I need some help with that. Then set up OBS with some assets, some visual representation. I need to talk with some of my friends or buddies in the city, see if they can come and help me with that. Yeah, something like that would be actually fun. 47. That sounds about my age as well. We're all old timers in here in audio. That's what it is, right? Like, some of the audio fans, like with all of this stuff, I don't expect 20-year-olds. I don't expect 20-year-olds to have this kind of gear. Zeos gets a good credit on yes, but Zeos has also been at it for like 10 years. He's Gavin says he's 10. I don't think so. Really? That's pretty young, but I admire it. we are older here, but it doesn't mean that we can't like the same things, because we listen to music and we play games, and like I play video games on my Xbox, and some of my other friends just like hanging out and doing stuff like that, stuff that's fun. And what we do is basically just, I have my iPad here, and I listen to the Spotify music on the iPad, and then I just play music from my friends. So it's not really exciting music now, because like I was just saying, sometimes YouTube will block the videos, and I can't play videos like that, because then no one can hear it, no one can watch it, and I don't want to spend an hour talking with friends and then nobody can hear it, right? So that's cool that my video actually reached out to different demographics. That's awesome. And I wish that I had more to showcase. So I'm going to try to reach out to some brands, talk about headphones, because headphones is definitely a way to reach certain younger folks, because I was blasting cassette tapes on a little radio, exactly like that, like this. I'll show you the kind of radio I had back in the day. Let me find it. I'm gonna cassette. Like this. This is how old we are. Look at this. You can still buy it on Amazon. Is this a new unit? I'll just dox myself. I have to be careful with showing items like that on my own account. Should just be images. Let me see. I didn't really. There's not enough information shown on screen to showcase exactly where I'm at. Close enough, but where that's not everything. Yeah, cassette players back in the day, like stuff like this. I had this exact player. Exactly the same one I had back in the day. And you know what's funny about this one? When I had this one back in the day, I actually cut into the unit. I opened it up. I opened up the unit and put speaker terminals on the back, so the amps inside here could drive external speakers. And then I put the speaker terminals. See if I can find... No, probably not going to find the back of the unit. But yeah, I opened it up, put speaker terminals on the back of the unit, and I cut holes in the battery, the battery slot. So I ran speaker wires to the battery slot at the back, and then I put actual speaker terminals, push terminals on the back, so I could run external speakers at the same time. Yeah, it was pretty cool. And then what I used to do is on the top of the unit, there were two like RCA inputs and like outputs for it. So I used to run like an EQ unit through that, and then I was able to get like this crazy feedback kind of thing with it. Yeah. So when we were young, the technology was very different. Pixel Castle states, and I'm reading it out that way because a lot of the chat doesn't show up on time, and it's easier if people watch this later on and they don't have to look it up or read the chat themselves. I started buying up all cassettes I find at thrift stores about 10 years ago. Oh, do you want me to show you a really cool cassette that I still have? It's going to be dark at first, but I'm going to try to locate it quickly. Bear with me here. Oh, it's not a nut drawer. Okay. I have like one cassette left. And the reason why I kept it is going to be obvious in a second. It's like a very, very important collector's item. This is very rare. It's not really in good condition, which sucks, but there's nothing I can do about that now. Yeah, this is fiber modem. Yep. Yeah, this is a really old one. Original cassette, garage days. Yeah, I have the Bell fiber modem. It's 3.5. Yeah, 3.5 gigabits. I've got that zoom, you know what I mean? Show you I would show you my speed test, but that's going to show my IP address. I can't do that. Let's see if I can actually get one. I guess if I do this, you can't see. That's Wi-Fi. So, Wi-Fi speeds. It only shows the download. That's too bad. Anyways, you know what I'm saying? 1.6, 1.5. Yeah, that's pretty good. This is something I didn't realize, and this is something maybe others might want to think about in terms of like their audio system, right? Like, so these units, they have a switch. That's a network switch there. And then they're all connected to the internet. So the interesting thing is most of them just have gigabit, which is 1,000, right? Which we're talking about 1.5. In order to get the 1.5 speeds, you actually need to up the input capabilities to something else. So I didn't realize it, but most of the devices I have are gigabit. They're only 1,000. They won't process any higher than 1,000. So my Xbox, my computer, a lot of these devices just have gigabit or less. They're not very capable. They won't process any more than Sniper King. Is that a gamer tag that I see? Hello, welcome. We are talking about audio systems and music and players, including headphones and portable units and anything like that. I'm going to try to bring in more headphones to talk about soon. But yeah, most of the internet stuff is only 1,000, right? It's only gigabit of Ethernet. So if you're playing on Xbox or PS whatever, most of the consoles, even computers, will come with a standard gigabit modem or network board. If you want to benefit from higher speeds, 2.5 gigs on board, yes. So if you want to hit that 2.5 or you want to take advantage of higher network speeds, some streaming units in the hi-fi world will run fiber. Very few of them, but some of them will. There's network switches out there that actually have fiber, which is incredible because you don't transfer noise or EMF noise or radio noise down the chain. If you're running fiber for your streaming services from a very, very good network switch, then you can get fiber directly into your streaming, and then you can get as fast as, 10 gigabit or whatever you want. And then you can run 10 gigabit speeds. Not that you really need it, because depending on what kind of streaming you're doing, like if you're running DSD files and you're streaming DSD files, which I don't think you can do. Most streaming services are not running DSD. DSD is a native thing. You have to run DSD files from native storage. Carl Van Doren is here. Welcome. Hello. Sniper King dropped in for a bit. Hopefully any of this stuff is interesting. I was just showcasing my demographics, and most of the people that tune in are 35 plus. So if I mean, if I'm going to start reaching into the 20s, I've got to have something to talk about that they're interested in. Don't always have the most interesting stuff. Sniper King 13. And what game do you play to be Sniper King? Kings. It's plural. There's 2 of them, or you're part of a group. That's interesting. Yeah, anything over 1 gigabit is overkill. For most audio streaming services, yes. Most audio streaming services, even in 24-bit, I was going to make some sort of vulgar joke there, but nothing came to mind that was safe for the internet. If you're streaming 24-bit 192, you can still get all of that download bit strength or whatever inside of 1 gigabit. Like, you don't really need that. The group, I play Call of Duty. Cool. I know Call of Duty had a number of different games that were released lately, and I know that there's a couple of new games out. I know I'm stuck in a game now that actually started biting the dust a while ago, Destiny 2, and I don't snipe, so I'm not one of those guys, but I know all about it, and I know how it feels, and I know the team chat, so I respect it. I appreciate everyone. See, and while we have the gamers in the house, let me showcase what I have going on in the other room. And I'll showcase this for the reason of gaming. So I have a full gaming system here. Well, it's not really a gaming system. It's more like just my computer system here. And we got Michaela on there. That's Michaela Peterson. She's talking about her new diet. All my monitor stuff here. So I've got the monitor there. That's a curved screen there. So this is all for the computer. And then the theater system in the background, you see the speakers there, on the ceiling. Check that out. All the way around, surround system. You guys mind all my snacks and shit. Speakers on the back. Right? So this is a gaming system. My Xbox is down here. Got extra fans on it. So while I'm playing, while I'm at the computer here, you guys can see when I crouch down, so the top of my chair is right here. You can see just over the monitor, you can still see my tweeter, and then it aligns with these tweeters. So it's actually just perfectly aligned. Now I have to look up at the screen a little bit, but this is the gaming system for my room, and that's why I have a secondary room in here for all of this other stuff, so I can Xbox game. I have my other streaming stuff out here, the microphones, all that stuff. Yeah, that's why I've got 2 rooms. All my movies and such are all in here. Yeah. So I can answer a lot of gaming questions too, even though I don't stream or game a lot. I probably should. I was just asking, would I get an audience if I was streaming? I don't know. Maybe I would. It's the only time Pixel Castle stated, only time I use it is when I download large games. Oh yeah, so like that much one the speeds of course. ARPGs over here, nice gaming setup. Thank you very much. It came at a, I spent the money where I needed it, but I didn't spend it where I didn't need it. So the speakers in there are pretty cheap. They were relatively inexpensive, but they're loud enough. I'm in an apartment, so I can't crank it. You know how that is. I can use headphones, but I just choose not to because it sounds better for me in a full system. However, if you have a small space or if you live with anybody else, you can't play it very loud. They'll get upset. And yeah, it's, I know how it is. So headphones would do really well in there. I know I need to review more headphones, but I prefer a full system. And like I said, in that room, spend too much on the speakers. I spent more on the receiver because it's 11 channels and I wanted it to be loud enough for movies. So I did spend a bit of money there, but the speakers are relatively cheap. They're under $200 for most of them, and then the big ones at the front are let me see. Dipshit. Very cool. My friends try to get a PC. Do you have any tips? Well, I was going to say, if you want to get a PC now, buying a new one might cost a lot for the memory. There's a lot of pricing going on right now and issues because technology is shifting and changing, and the politics of things always change the prices of PC parts, memory, GPUs. You know, the craze for technology and AI right now it's pushing things in a different direction. So if you can get your hands on memory before prices get crazy, suitable memory, I would say grab it at a really good price, or find someone that's getting rid of a computer and get the memory used, and then figure out the other parts. That's something that I would suggest. You don't need best of the best. Put it that way. Honestly, some of the most competitive gaming, they play at very low resolution. You don't need to play at 4K. You can play at lower resolution. You can play at higher clock speeds and things like that. There are a lot of techniques for competitive gaming that are not what the market wants you to buy. You know what I mean? Like, so brands like Nvidia and Asus and blah blah blah, like all these brands, I could name off 30 of them, but I don't need to advertise for them. They want you to buy the expensive shit. But the truth of the matter is, in gaming, a lot of the times the resolution you're playing at, if you play at 4K, you need very, very, like, a lot of power. But if you're only playing at 720 to get faster refresh rates and pixel accuracy and all that kind of thing, and your aim times are really low and low latency, then you can run different specs in order to play better. You know what I mean? Like, if you just want to win games, you need to find other techniques other than buying the most expensive shit possible. And you know what? To my audio friends, it's the same thing with audio. Good quality audio that you can enjoy at home does not require multiple thousands of dollars of equipment to enjoy. If the goal is enjoying yourself, then you absolutely don't need to spend tens of thousands. You can spend $1,000 or $2,000 at the end of a savings period, and you'll be just as better served with a system that is dialed in, that's bought with intent. If you buy used in certain areas and you buy this and that from certain areas, and if you borrow stuff, you can figure out what you need in audio for so much less money than is needed for, that is advertised. The advertisers and sales reps and brands are the ones that want you to buy brand new. They're the ones that benefit from that sale, not you. Sometimes you, but not if you're not using it. So that's my caution, is to say that, if you're going to buy into anything, if it's a PC or even audio at this point, find out exactly what you need it to do. And I mean need it to do, not compete with people, because people will throw around numbers like they have a 50-40 or a 40-90 or a 30 whatever. Like, I don't give a flying fuck. They're just showing off. They're bragging. They're like, oh, I have this, I have that. What do you have? And they're using it like a prop tool. Like, oh my God, I have Macintosh 901s and I have B&W 801s and D4 and blah blah blah. Like, it's a race. It's a race for gear to satisfy ego. They're just showing off. Sniper King says, I hate braggers. Yeah, it's, you know what? I'm not going to say I hate them. That's, I think I know what you mean. But by saying that, I think we both understand that it's not necessary to have like brand new shoes and a brand new coat and a blah, blah, blah. Like, that's what the world of sales wants you to do. They want you to buy all that new stuff. They want you to compete with your friends and buy all the newest stuff because they get all the money. That's such a waste of time. It's such a waste of energy and stress, and like, don't even worry about it. If you using like 2-year, 3-year-old gear and you're scoring better and you're getting better scores and you win at games and you test yourself and you do better, that's what really matters. It doesn't matter what somebody looks like, sounds like, whatever they own, wherever they live. That none of that shit matters at the end of the day. Competition is skill based. Your skills are represented by a consistent performance. So it's like, you want to reduce the stress in mind and you want to set out to do like good things in the world, then that will show you whether you're doing good or bad. It's not about what other people have. Not at all. Let me catch up with some of these comments here. So Ryzen 7 3080 and DDR4 are still good and cheap. I think I did get the 3800. I think that's the chip that I had from a while ago. So I'm still fine with AMD 3600, NVIDIA 3080 is definitely pretty good right now. And you can still hit a lot of specs with that card. Really no interest in trying to get, like the best of the best. Yeah, and people get jealous. Yes, jealousy, envy is one thing, right? As long as like I can be envious that people can afford, like, say for me, I have this unit probably cost me the most out of everything. The speakers cost the most, then this one. The CD player was a really good deal. And this is the tribute player, which is very special for the brand. Now, there is a player that matches this, and let me look it up for you because you won't believe the price of the CD player. I'm going to shoot this way so this is still in frame. And how is everybody this evening, by the way? How is everybody? Just personally, like, how are you doing? You don't have to tell a big story, but I don't want this to just be about stuff, right? We have a lot of stuff in the world, but I want to know that people are okay. New Intel Panther Lake is supposed to have good gaming performance without a GPU. Might be worth waiting for. Oh yeah, because it's all like it's like an all-in-one chip, right? Okay, I want to showcase the CD player. I'm just Google searching. I'll showcase the photos from my friends at EQ Audio. EQ Audio, the GTA. Say Friday is a PA day for me. That's awesome. That's awesome. I love having days off. So sometimes it depends on, say, when I had days off when I was young, and I wish someone told me this, like, you could use your time wisely or foolishly, right? So you could either catch up on some work or you can spend most of the day just playing around. I would say it's very important early on to build a discipline to do the work first, then play later. It really, really makes a difference. I'm old enough. I don't want to sound like a parent, but some people have told me I have that. Explain things well, making things sound like it makes sense. And honestly, I play a lot. And I know that if I was younger, I would tell my younger self, like, do the hard work first. Learn it, not because it's just got to get done, but understand it, learn it, make it easy to do so it doesn't feel like anything to do it, right? do the work, learn the work, get it out of the way, then play. It's like a reward. Play is the reward. But definitely do the discipline stuff first. Get a routine, get some consistency. Don't, your friends will ask you this, they'll say some words and be like, oh, come on, let's play. I don't have any time, or this and that. And in most of the time, it's not worth it. You just do the hard work first, then go play, even if it's less time. So here, we'll get to the CD player, then I'll move on from this. So here's the CD player. Look how much the CD player is. That's Canadian. Only thing I think I need to catch up on is coding. It's so hard. Yeah, remembering the terms and the placements and the order. And I remember doing coding back when computers still had floppy disk drives. Like all you had was command prompt and like very, very early games. That's what I remember. It's way back in the day. And I wish I knew better coding, because I would be fucking rich now instead of being where I am. That's how it is, right? I was into coding before the internet was popular. That's how old I am. Pixelcast will know what I'm talking about. Back when like Apple IIgs was out. Remember those? So that's the CD player. CD goes in the top like that. But yeah, that's the price. That's the Canadian price. That's what I'm saying. It's like a CD DAC. It does have a DAC features on the back. So it's got analog output. Right? So it does have analog output. It's got multiple digital inputs. No streaming, just the DAC. I'll show you the preamp price. I'm looking up the preamp price. Oh, so there it is. That's the preamp price. Think about that. The preamp is $2,000 less than a CD player. Look at this. There it is. $84.99 versus $6. That's crazy. Why would a CD player, it should not even be this much. There's less in there. This has a DAC. This has all those other features. Why is this so much? This should only be like $449. $5 maybe. Way too much. So that's what I mean is there a reason, to go back to the original conversation, is there a reason for me to get the CD player when I have one here with, you know what I mean? I guess it's a DAC. It is. It's a CD and DAC together. But this has a DAC in it, and it's the same chip. It's just a different function, right? Like this has all the other analog features, plus the ins and outs and technology and all this other stuff. Whereas the other one has the CD transport and then the DAC, which is less, assuming it performs better, but I can't justify that. This player was maybe $600. And you know what? It does work. I don't need any better than that. And that's what I mean is I only wanted to play CDs. Now, am I going to sit here and pull my hair out trying to figure out whether this CD player sounds better than another, or am I just going to be anxious and think, yeah, but it could be better? Like, what if frogs had wings, they wouldn't bump their ass when they hopped? That's an old joke, by the way. You guys can enter in chat where that joke is from. But that's the thing about anxiety and chasing is Tectra Tube. Damn, you have KEF R11s now? Yes, sir. Yes, I do. The Arundel Towers. The Arundel Towers said goodbye a couple of months ago. And I got these. So the only visual difference, and you'll also notice I did something with the amps. I'll zoom in a second, but you notice how Tecra got it. Notice how these are all white drivers on the front, but now the subs are black. So like when the Arundels were here, it was black circles and then circles. Techro is like, I wanted your R11s. Yeah, I think I mentioned it a couple of times on here before they got purchased. I did speak about someone who was demoing them, and then that demo actually led to the sale. So then it just kind of happened that way. And I thought, well, what do I have next? And I had a number of other speakers in here, right? I had the Bucard Audio. I have the Radiant Acoustics still. I borrowed some Monitor Audio speakers, which are actually really amazing. I'm not going to talk about whatever I let them go for on here. We'll have to chat offline. And you guys can follow the link in my profile to the Discord if you do want to talk to me at any other time. That link should be fixed now. So yeah, this is the other thing I did. Check out what I did to the amps. Can't really showcase the red. Let me move the camera. Yeah, I decorated the amps over the holiday. Pretty cool stuff. No, they're it's like automotive wrap. I have a whole video. I did a whole live video, and I just like heat wrapped and shrinked it all. It doesn't even get hot. I cut the holes out of the front. Yeah, it's just a wrap. It's pretty cool stuff. And these are Buckeye amps, so I put the Buck sticker there. So that's sort of like a brand logo now. And then the power indicators on the front. So yeah, I just answered. The chat's a little bit behind my talking speed, about 20 seconds. Purify modules. Sorry about that. Got a little flipped and turned around. Yeah, Buckeye Audio is, and that's another, I've been talking about value the last few streams, and I've been telling people, like, you don't have to spend so many thousands of dollars to get really good sound, right? Like, I'm enjoying myself. The amps are about $1,500. They're 500 watts into 4 ohms. The speakers are about 4 ohms, 90 dB sensitivity. These speakers, the R11s actually sound better to me than the R11s do. Gotta go eat. Good. That's good. Take care of yourself. I'm always around here. If you hook up on Discord, then I'll chat with everybody there. That's something that I can do, especially for certain questions. That's a better place to answer specifics, because you know how YouTube is public, right? Pete. Is that names I'm seeing? We go by code names here, but anyways, it's all good. You guys are cool. Yeah, have some food. I probably need to do the same thing eventually, but I've got juice for now. That's what I'm into. But yeah, I was saying, like, multiple $1,000s. Oh yeah. Okay, just a rhyme. Got it. Sense of humor I'm not used to. Magical lemonade. Definitely will enjoy the day. Yeah, the KEF R11s are actually really great. Here's my journey. Should I put some FaceTime on here? Turn this shit around. I'm just gonna sit back here for a second. I wish I could. There's nothing interesting behind me. If I was sitting the other way, maybe it would be interesting, but there's nothing behind me, just lights. So here is how I decided to get the R11s. ASR, Amir, did a review on the R11 metas, and I think the R5s. The R5s or 7s, they were measured and they were reviewed. A couple of the other reviewers, Steve Guttenberg, Nemo, and Zero Fidelity, did the R3. Aaron's Audio Corner did the R5, the R3, the R1 reference. And a lot of that measurement data reporting, I think Ron at New Record Day also did the R3. I think Jay also measured or reviewed the R3 and a couple of other speakers. So anyways, a lot of, I love Aaron too. I love his sense of humor. I love that he's super intelligent and quick. I love his consistency. An excellent value to the community, 100%. So after listening to all of these guys talk about certain speakers, the R&Ls were kind of the same. Yes, even Danny Ritchie liked the R3s to a degree. You know, his game is designing his own speakers and then modifying others so he can sell some stuff. Now, cool for him. Like, I think if he's going to give a thumbs up and he doesn't have much to say about it, then okay, cool. But like, even at the most scrutiny, you know what I'm saying here, that they met and surpassed a lot of the average needs for most listeners. So in my case, when I was going from the R&Ls and I thought, you know, I've had them for a year or a little bit more than a year, and I thought, okay, I do want to change it up a little bit because I want to have something interesting to listen to, and I want to have something of high value. I want to have something I can get my hands on because that's important. There's a lot of cool speakers around in the world that I either don't have access to, I don't know any reps or sales teams in the area, and I can't talk to anybody. So KEF was one of those easy brands, like a lot of people can have out there, is they're at box stores, they're at Best Buys, they're at a lot of other small brick and mortar shops, smaller stores carry KEF, and it's a very popular enough brand that a lot of people can go and find them. So my thought was, if I'm going to get rid of a large tower, I don't want to downscale too much. I thought I'm either going to upscale in bookshelf, which I didn't really get them, you know, I don't have the budget that I need for the way that I wanted to go. I'm still working on it, but it's not going to happen right now. The other towers I wanted, the same thing. They're just too expensive. It's in a whole other range. Also, towers are very heavy. They're hard to get my hands on and move around. So I thought, you know, I'm gonna get some towers. I'm gonna get the R3, the R11 metas, the new ones, because they're relatively new and they've had a proven, measured, and reviewed rating, that I'm gonna pick them up, and that's why they're in my system. They are almost as sensitive as the R&L towers. They have lower bass than the R&L towers, and they image a bit differently than the R&L towers, even though they kind of both have a waveguide, but the concentric driver of the KEF it's so much more coherent. So if you guys remember the R&L towers, the tweeter was about the same level, but it was one tweeter with the gap between the woofers, mid-range on the top and the bottom. So depending on which angle you're sitting at, it might have sounded a little bit different. So for me, I feel like the concentric driver actually does better at presenting a coherent image than does the waveguide and the drivers on the R&L. The R&L drivers being 8-inch, there's also some, you know, driver width issues that can affect the mid-range, although they did measure very well also. I think both of them are very, very good. I think also the R&Ls play a lot louder. These will play to about 113 decibels. And I'm looking up what the R&Ls will play. Specs. No, not monitors. Look at all this scrolling just before I can get to what I need to click on. Jesus. Sites are built for advertising, not for end user experience. Look how much junk there is. Sound. Okay. Frequency. Sound. It doesn't show the max SPL rating. Lots of measurements there, but it doesn't show their max SPL. So their max SPL is something to be concerned about, because a lot of people disregarding brands, anything in white just looks so good. Oh yeah, I definitely agree. Well, especially with my room, like, you know, my room, right? It's a Professor B70. Look, I mean, the whole room is all in white, all the colors, the accents, the subs, the swords. So I mean, like, that was a purposeful decision. I mean, my cabinet's white. Even my glass is white. White power! No, I'm kidding. I'm just playing. It's the internet. You know what I'm talking about. I mean, if Dave Chappelle can say it for a joke. Mirage Bryston's here. Hello. KEF line holds value and sell quick if you ever want to get to move on. Yeah, true. Like, and that's something I'm considering. But let me ask you a question. Everybody that's in the chat and watching, we're almost at an hour here anyway, so I want to ask a question. Given the state of my room, we see, like, I have the black, like, shag carpet on the back here. Look at this. It's a nice thick carpet. Do you think the gear is all black? Most of the time it is, and there's no way we can avoid that. With this contrast, the amps are dark. The subs, they have black options. The speakers also, they have black options. Do you think it would be worthwhile for me to get black speakers, maybe the KC92 subs matching in black, to contrast the room rather than having white everything? Does it look better in white like this? Because I'm okay with this. I actually really like how it blends and it's uniform, and I'm going to get rid of the mirror at some point. I don't know what I'm going to put here. I want to get some treatments. Change the color on the chair. Yes, I did talk about those right when I started today. The pink one is in the other room now. This one's the darker one. So black speakers are dust magnets for F that. Yeah, that's true. And these are too, but you can't see the dust as much. Like, you can see it in certain reflections, but like, look how uniform that reflection is. Like, how perfect. These are some of the sexiest looking speakers I've ever seen. I know they're very, like, sharp edges and everything, but still, the way that they're designed, the waveguide, like this, I would like if this was a little more smooth. It sticks out a little bit. Could probably seat them a little bit better, but there's a little bit of an edge there. You see what I mean? Wouldn't mind if they were a little bit smoother, but I think that uniform look, slightly silver faceplates, some of the best looking. Now, I asked about the subs. Do I get the KC92 subs and then move these to the theater? Or white vinyl wrap sub grills? I don't know if I can do that. Looks fine. Paint the sub grills. Can't paint the sub grills because they're fabric. The fabric on the grills is white. So maybe I can just put the grills on and then it would cover that up. Yeah, but the grills are a different kind of color. It's a little bit weird. So yeah, I think maybe sticking to the white's a good idea. But you guys did see, like I showcased before, that I did with my amps. So the amps are now wrapped. The thing is, because I know how to do it now, I can actually wrap my amps in white. So what do you think about me doing that? I know that I'm gonna have to buy like new stickers and it's gonna cost a bit of money, but I can actually wrap the whole amp in white. So maybe I could do that. And then the SVS subs, I know the 3000s just came out, 3000 Pros. I don't know if they really launched them white or not. The press kit that I got emailed showed that they had a white finish, but the website doesn't show an option. Like the RE 5000s, the 5000 series just recently had like a very limited run of white subs, but I don't need 15-inch subs in here. If I had more powerful 3000s, that might actually work better. Oh my, the old, yeah, so these are 1000s. These are not 3000s. And the new 3000s, I think, have cloth grills. They don't have metal grills on the 3000s this year. So SVS options, I mean, they do have a new dual speaker, dual 9-inch 3000 sub. So maybe those would be an interesting option instead of the KC92s from KEF. Price-wise, I don't know about their performance. I actually think SVS performs very well, but then they're not going to match the same. So I don't know. So rather the color, can't you pull the speakers a bit away from the corners, my friend? How close to the corner do you think that is? Seriously. Also, it's actually not that close to the corner. Looks are deceiving. It only looks like it's close to the corner. That's 3 feet from the wall. So yeah, they're actually 3 feet from the back wall. Put the amps in the middle front of the mirror. Nah, I don't really need to see them that close. Having them away from the middle is better for me, because nothing gets in the way of the image. And I mean, yeah, you can see the more even room with the speakers. I've tried it. The bass in the room doesn't appreciate the subs really anywhere else. The only thing I was gonna do is put the subs here, so I could run the signal across this little groove I have on the carpet. You see this? So I could run the speaker, the sub thing right here, and then put this sub like kind of in front and then move the towers in. But then it changes the soundstage. Moving the towers really anywhere else in this room as of right now doesn't sound better. I've tried it. So I know everybody's going to look at it and think they have suggestions, but I've done the measurements. I've played around with it multiple times. This is the best place that I have for them. The reason is because I have a closet that's right here that's open. I have this little space here that's also open. And then behind here is an asymmetrical window well that's open. So there's a lot of different elements to account for where everything is. And the best thing that I've come up with is to keep the subs as close as possible, keep the phase within a couple of degrees in order to compensate for the room. And I think the only other thing that might work is if I use like a bass trap cloud or something like that above that back end, because this can get really boomy in the corner. Because these will reach down to 25 and these will reach to 20. So I've got them rolled off at like 35 hertz. This is only doing the very, very bottom end to like fill out the lowest end. That's all it's doing. Other than that, everything in here measures basically flat. And it sounds really good from the position. So nothing really to change, just color. So you'd also turn the subs in any direction, try having subs pointed at each other. Yeah, except the wires and everything would stick out at the back, and that would change their position. I could have them firing up at the ceiling. What's the difference? Yeah, you could, and I've already discussed it with like 10 different people that say multiple things about having subs in small rooms. I know the physics. That's why I'm saying that's the best it's going to get. I've tried it in every other way, and right now it's the flattest I've ever got it. So regardless of the looks and the theory, I've done the playing around. It's amazing. A lot of people in audio, and I don't know if you'll find this the same, like I never asked for advice, but then automatically somebody's giving me advice based on what they're looking at. And I'm not playing the hater. I'm just saying that it's so common in the community just to have people give unsolicited advice based on physics of a space that they are not even in. It's just all theory. So while I appreciate people trying to look out for the best, quote, best, it's like speaking from a place of factual ignorance, because you don't know what my room sounds like. So to make a suggestion without even being here, it's just theory. And there's too many people in audio like that, just willing to, hey, do this, do that, do this, do that. And it's, I've had multiple people on my channels come in and talk all kinds of nonsense just because it's theory. But in practice, it doesn't actually function that well. There's more going on. The density of my walls, how the construction of the building is, the asymmetry of my window, the closet and its effect, and the materials I have in my room, and where I'm sitting away from the speakers. Like, those are all other factors that are much more difficult to account for, but nobody ever talks about that. They just look at whatever's on the floor and they're like, hey, what about this? Yes, Pixel Castle subs are tricky to incorporate because of all the different things that I just said. There's so many other factors other than where they sit on the floor that play a big role in how they're going to perform. It's just more to it than that. So me personally, I stopped giving people advice. It's just, unless they're asking, I just shut the fuck up. It's not my place. Nobody's asking. I'm not a fucking expert. I have no reason to tell other people how to do anything in their room. I just say, hey man, nice gear. How does it sound? They tell me what they think, and then I fuck off. There's no reason to get into it. Everybody speaking from their own armchair is just, I don't need to add to that. Obsessive compulsive audiophile on YouTube is probably one of the best at subwoofer integration advice. Yeah, or just talking for the sake of seeing themselves talk. I don't know. So, well, it comes from the point where that everybody experiences similar problems, but you're right, technically, we can't know without being in front of it. Listening being the ultimate go-to final say, and it's like my preference versus somebody else's preference. Like, if that was my room, I would do this. Now, that makes a lot of sense. That's a mature, subjective way to talk. But when it's like, hey, you should move, like, no, I'm not one of those guys that takes a you should statement very lightly. It's like, first of all, I do get defensive, but rightfully so. And I say, well, who the fuck are you to tell me what I like and what I don't? Like, hello, you're not Einstein or Floyd Toole. So it's like, why? The most mature questions I get are, hey, have you tried this? Have you tried that? Or how did you arrive at your configuration? Like, How did you decide where to put your system? That's a mature question coming from a place of knowledge, because you know it takes a decision. It's not like I just bought them and then put them on the floor like, oh, I'm done. I know a lot of people do that, but I didn't. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like to start a mature conversation with anybody in the industry, and I'm just playing advocate here, is the start of something that we can build on, or you can take away from. It creates more invitation for a conversation, or it can close doors because it sounds a certain way. It's a tone, right? It's a tone of speaking. That's just part of language. I can pick up on it. I know what most people are saying. Then I eventually have to say like 400 lines to explain how I got to my position. So, DSP to delay the speakers with subs. Yes, and that is the biggest problem, is time alignment. So the best that I have in my space in order to compensate for bass in a small room is phase shifting. So the speakers are playing at a certain time and the subs can be shifted in phase in order to align them. And that's what I'm doing in here, because the SVS subs both have phase shifting built into their own DSP. Now the subs output slightly behind my towers because my preamp doesn't have bass management. I thought of getting the NAD M66, but two things happened. One, someone told me that they don't function well without the internet because it's like an all-in-one streamer BlueOS OS system that might have to communicate with some system, which sucks. And then two, the reps never answered me. I would have bought the NAD because it had bass management, and I have that exact same thought. If I don't have a DSP control to time align the subs and speakers, there's going to be a problem, and I get that. It'd be even more of a problem if they were ported, because the ports are usually even phase shifted, and it would be even fucking worse. So I mean, yeah, it's not my first time around the circus. I know the go-tos, but there's only so much I'm going to do. And like I started out in this conversation saying, like, there's no real reason to spend multiple thousands of dollars chasing the dragon on everything. I think coming in here and sitting down to a system that plays what I want to hear is fucking good enough. More than that is just starting to beat myself with a dead horse. So again, I do appreciate the insights. I do appreciate the care, because the comments are really about getting someone to a place where it can possibly sound better. And I do appreciate that part. I really do. That's how a caring community is built. So I do acknowledge that point. I do respect that insight, suggestion, that view, that possibilities of change if it suits, and that's cool. However, the unfortunate part is a lot of the times it doesn't come from a place of care. It comes from a place of, oh, I fucking know better, let me just say something. And then it's like, who knows the most as a spitting fight? Like, oh, come on. Not why I'm here. It's like, it's cool when you mess with the delay in a mini DSP, you can really hear the bass tighten up. Yes. Well, the one thing I did with these is I put the ISO acoustics on them. So check that out, right? I've got the ISO acoustics on the subs and the towers. I've even got piano casters underneath those ones because I wanted the tweeter height closer to my ear level. So that's why I did that. And now when I'm sitting here, the tweeters are just below my ear, which is okay because in the concentric, it's essentially just the same time alignment out of all of it. So I'm getting the best that I can out of that. Now here we are, an hour and 14. How's everybody doing this evening? I see 8 people watching. 8 people like the video. That's also very cool. I appreciate it. 9 people like the video. And we're just listening to copyright music today, throughout the day. Had most of a discussion today about value of stuff, like buying the stuff that just feels right for your space, does what you need it to do without overspending because somebody sold you something. Like, cool, look at the blue flashy meters. Right? Ooh, look at the VU meters. Sell some more gear with my VU meters. Where's the blue one? There we go. Now we've got blue meters. Can I sell more? Instead of NAD, maybe check out Lingdorf. Yes, well, Lingdorf is definitely more expensive as far as I remember. But yeah, Room Perfect is another really good system to run for any of this kind of stuff. It's definitely an option. To be honest, most of the time, unless I'm listening to EDM and some songs, I don't even really need subs in here. These speakers are actually better than I imagined. They've got way more bass output in the low end than the Arundel's did. Arundel's, for whatever reason, they drop off a little sudden. I mean, they are THX speakers. They're whatever their distortion ratings and their specs are. I know they have subs to fill in, which is what I was doing with these subs. But now that I have these with this relatively small space, it's almost like an option to have that. But I do need it for the EDM tracks. They won't reach all the way to the 20s right where I want them to be. So, yeah. So the factor of the speakers and the subs natural roll-off or crossover, so you don't want the same crossover order on the subs as the speakers. Yeah, as long as it's coherent, right? I have the mini DSP mic 2. The problem is there's no computer in here, and I have to run my laptop and that at the same time, and then I have to like USB input to here, which bypasses this streamer unless I USB in. I can't, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know that I can run USB audio through here. I have to try it in order to mic everything. But I'm going to try it and see what I can get as far as alignment. That's a whole other project I haven't gotten to. But it's something that I want to showcase to say, here are my numbers. Like, here's how my system measured. Now let's have a conversation, right? Because if my measurements show that I'm off by something and something doesn't look right, or I think it sounds okay, but it actually doesn't, which is just such a weird statement. Like, if I think it sounds fine, then it sounds fine until I look at measurement and I go, oh, maybe it doesn't sound fine because I can't hear these variations in the measurements. Like, well, if I can't hear the measurements in any of the variations in the measurements, what the fuck difference does it make? Then it's just like Pandora's box. It's like, oh, now I've seen it, I can't unsee it, so now I have to go unfuck my audio system. Come on. Ignorance is bliss. I think I might call my I think I could rename an audio system if I came out with audio brands. Came up with an audio brand, I could call it Ignorance. Ignorance Audio. I one time thought about, have you guys seen the so-called Cinnamon brand DACs and streamers? They look like a concrete bowl. They look like a concrete brick with a gold bowl in the middle of it. It's so weird. It's so rustic and like something that came out of one of those episodes of Star Trek Next Generation. They go to some alien planet. There's all this artifacts sitting around, cinnamon something. Anyways, I had one time thought of making a brand and call it Scratch and Dent. The same kind of scratch and dent you would go and pick up like a new fridge or a new stove or whatever, where like the items that you're getting would be like very rustic looking. The chassis would be all like rough. They would be like done well, machined well, but they would have like a rough exterior. So like if it did get chipped or scratched or roughed up or whatever, it wouldn't make a difference because that's how it showed up in the first place. You would reduce the amount of QC rejects. You would reduce the amount of care needed to put them away. All of the different kind of packaging and processing, you could avoid all of that stuff. Just make them look very rough to begin with, and then make them sound undeniably fucking awesome. And then people will just have to get used to it. And like, I'm sure the first person who looked at a Jackson Pollock painting and thought, oh, that looks like fucking, did you have an accident? Like, what, did the paint cans explode? Like, nah, bitch, that's my style. And then, you know, many decades later, all of a sudden, he's top shit. You know, Jackson Pollock paintings just look like splatter, but the perceived value of his style sank in, you know. I was doing wrong for years and didn't know. I was using Linkwitz Riley on the subs and speakers, right? Different crossover set, right? It's a different frequency and performs differently, so that makes sense. Absolutely. So yeah, I'm gonna have to look into the TDAI 3400, Lingdorf 3400. I know that their other ones were expensive. Even 2-channel stuff is pretty expensive. And I also don't know any dealers for Lingdorf. At least I don't think so. Honestly, the stuff that I might lean into, depending on how much comes out in the near future, is Thomas and Stereo. Thomas and Stereo, bless that guy. For all of his wisdom, he's come out with a number of different products since the TS120 tube amp. He's got the new preamp, he's got the new stereo A amp, stereo class A B amp, he's got monoblocks on the way, he's got giant tube amps, monoblocks that are sitting on someone's floor, all the videos that he's got. Now this is a Canadian manufacturer, essentially sourcing designs and having the stuff made in Canada, sourcing them the right way, tuning them out the way that he likes it. Now I've got to hear the whole system, but it being unbalanced, and I'm using XLR for my amps, I didn't want to mix that up on the start. I probably could with an adapter, but I didn't really want to do that. So this one serves me better. This preamp serves me better in terms of its outputs. It's got dual mono outputs for the subs, and it's got XLR for my amps, so that's why I chose that one. But price-wise, I think that the Galleon preamp would have been a better score. Now, I've got a DAC streamer anyways and CD player, so that could all go straight in, but no XLR balance. So depending on how Thomas's next set of things comes out, you know, there might be some options there. But then again, me talking about not chasing anything, I think I would do that because it's Canadian, because it's supportive, and because I know that he's putting a lot of care into those parts. I have to try it out. I'm looking forward to Montreal in March, that's for sure. Montreal should be a fun time. And yeah, that'll be March. And I don't know about Expona. I'm still on the fence. I didn't get anybody asking me about going. There's been no magazine offers, nothing like upfront. I mean, the first year I went was really last minute, and then I figured it out. So maybe I could do that again. I kind of priced everything out, and it's within the wheelhouse. But it would be nice to get compensated. Some kind of money and support to get down to Expona to bring back some videos and some photographs for brands. That's what I'm into. I'd love to do that, but if it's going to cost me a lot of out-of-pocket money and I can't recoup some of that money going down to Expona, essentially to do advertising for brands, then after a number of years now, I don't really want to do that. Ah, my bad. You need a preamp with room correction. The Lindorf is an integrated amp. Ah, yes. So the M66, yeah, that would be 1-for-1. You're right. And the others, yeah, they're all integrated. So, I mean, I guess I could, but so the King would be Trinov Amethyst. Yeah, exactly. Not doing that. I think I'm okay with this one. This stuff is going to do me well for now, and I don't mind wrestling with the physics of the room. See, my next plan is to maybe do room treatments, right? If I got some more padding on this side, it would absorb some of the energy from this side, and it wouldn't mess with some of the booming over here. Like, I'm about the same distance off the back wall as the subs are off that wall. So I'm kind of playing with it still. And again, I'll know more about how it measures once I get the U-Mic 2 in here. Yeah. That's about it. I think I'm approaching an hour and 25 minutes. I do appreciate all that have come. Earlier, we got some really young gamers in the house, so that was pretty cool. My demographics show that most people that watch are over 35 years of age, and almost 100% male, which is... that's fucking audio for you. That's the way it is. It's a tinker hobby, and most of it is occupied by dudes. So, my dudes, I will bid you adieu and farewell for now. I do appreciate you coming by. So could try a mini DSB Flex. So is that like, that's an yeah, I've seen something about that. It's like an interconnected unit that does alignment. It's not a preamp, is it? Because it's not going to replace, I don't know. I mean, yeah, because I would have to delay the towers, essentially is what it is, to align them correctly. Or run all of the signals, run the subs and amps through something and then align them that way. Yeah, I don't know. I have to figure it out. Thank you for watching. Mirage Bryston's here. Pixel Castle's in the house. Professor B70. We did have a bunch of others coming in from ahead of time. We had, let me scroll, I'm scrolling up. Tekra was here, probably still is. Sniper King went to eat, and then before that, I'm scrolling all the way up to the beginning to get everybody's name. Gavin was here. Gavin said he was 10 years old. My goodness. Reaching all the young lads out there that are looking for headphone and audio advice. So this is another reason about the hobby is we have to make certain things make sense for anybody that's watching and listening, right? It's not just, 50-plus-year-olds talking at each other. I mean, the hobby and being online and YouTube is open to the world, right? So leaving an open gate for everybody should be our first priority. Making the whole thing invitable. Like, come and join us. Come check this out. This is how this works. This is why we did it. So that's why my awareness on how things are phrased, certain questions. If someone watches back this next week or 2 weeks from now or next year and they're only like 15, 17, and they're like, hey, what are these guys talking about? If it's too technical and it gets too, you know what I mean? It's kind of like a strange gatekeeping type of thing, and not on purpose, because most of us are knowledge, we've been here long enough and we know what's going on. The problem's always money. Active bass traps would have been a good idea. Maybe the PSI, yes. I don't know about that though. I'm going to try passive to begin with because I know friends that have that stuff. Straight to amp from Flex. Interesting. Wish you all good night, lads. Thank you very much, everybody. Scotty Audio Acoustic Engineering's here a little bit late, but we've been on for an hour and a half at this point. But thanks for joining. I am going to tune out because I need to shut the fuck up and go and sit down. That's how that goes. I will be back on again tomorrow if I'm feeling up to it. Tomorrow's going to be super fucking cold. We have a temperature of minus 24 overnight. 24 minus 24. Fucking cold, in other words. I've got my windows shut tight and my heater's on, and I'm just gonna go and chill out for a little bit. So for me in the room, thank you all for joining and watching and supporting. You know how it is. I don't know if anybody finds any of these videos very interesting, but it seems to be working. The more we can reach, the more we can inform and inspire, the better we're all going to do. I mean, that's what this hobby and music is all about. Musicians, recording, the enjoyment, the gaming, like audio envelops all of those things. So I like to keep it open. Everybody's part of the same circus. Plus 10 here. Oh, God. Scotty, Respectfully, my dude, shut up. You're just rubbing it in now. It's already like minus 17 here. I'll show you what it is. Look at this. It's cold, bruh. Cold, cold, cold. So, you enjoy your night. Yeah, no, take it easy. It's all good. All love. All right. I'll see everybody in the next video. I'll chill out and catch you all on the flip side. Probably do some stuff tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow and then we'll get it. So I'm going to do my 1 minute or so of outro music and then we'll finish this night off. All right. All right, y'all. Peace out.